here we are. Let's kick off. What lessons are on your agenda today? Oh, okay. What's number one? What's your top tip number one?
Well, I think it's a really this to me, I'm just feeling into this idea. What lessons are on your agenda today? Feels like it's an invitation to step into the driver's seat. So that
Oh,
thing of it is that you are the boss of you. Whenever I say that, I have in my the visual is a like a young, I don't know, 6 or 7 year old sticking your hands on your hips and saying, I'm the boss of me.
yeah. Actually,
Right?
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our deliciously motivated mindset conversation with Debz, that would be me, and Moira.
And that would be me.
That would be her.
That would be
Yay,
me over
yay.
here. Hi,
Yeah,
Deb.
hi, Moira. Hi, listeners.
Hi,
Hi,
listeners.
hi, everyone, because, today's one, that's going to be bigger than a goodie.
It's going to be a uber goodie.
Yeah, I think it's actually a different topic, isn't it? Isn't it? It's not really a topic that we've really touched on. I
Not
don't
really.
think.
That's what I said to you before we hit record. I'm interested in where this one's going to go with us.
Well, we don't, just so the listeners know, we don't know.
No, we
We'll
don't.
just say that now.
Nope.
We'll have certainty we'll get you through, but we don't know. That's the
Exactly.
one. That's the one.
Yeah, so
Well,
you'll learn as we do.
exactly. So thank you everybody for joining us. This is our deliciously motivated mindset conversation, and Debz is the Kiwi New Zealander, and Moira is the Scottish Canadian.
Scottish Canadian with a lot softer voice and no accent, according to Deb, by the way.
Yeah, no accent, none at all. Whatever. And our topic today is what lessons are on your agenda today? Ooh. There's definitely going to be a pen and paper needed for this to write some tips down. But first, one of the things we do, whether you're a virgin to the show or not, one of the things we do is we rate ourselves. And we do a scale of 0 to 10 just to check in and see where you're at emotionally, spiritually, physically, how you're actually feeling. And our aim is to, no matter what number you are, aim is to get you to the 0 by the end of this podcast so that it takes you to a more centered and poised place. Yeah. So 10 is a crazy place to be. And we all
discombobulated and feeling stuck. Crazy stuff.
It's that stuff that you just go, is there any light at the end of the tunnel? I can't even see any light. There's not even a pinhole of light. It's that crazy, crazy world. And we know those tens. And then a 0 is obviously just sitting present, poised.
Just zen.
Yeah, breathing into your heart and just feeling it.
Definitely.
So we check in with where we're at now with our numbers, and then we check in halfway through, and then we check in at the end. And so as I've said, our aim is to take you to the 0, but do not worry if you're sitting at a 2 and then you go to a 4, because it just means you've got more work to do. It's fine. We celebrate that. So don't be alarmed if you do jump the other way.
Yeah.
Because that sometimes happens to me. I don't think it's ever happened to Moira. I think it's just me.
No, it may have happened once or twice. I never say never anyway.
Yeah, never say never. Yeah, exactly, because that'll happen today. That's a lot of
Exactly.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what number are you sitting at now, Moira?
I'm going to put myself at a 2. And that just came because actually, normally when we do these setup conversations, I've got a sense of it in my head and I didn't. So 2. That's what
Yeah,
we're doing.
I feel it too as well. I feel quite centered and balanced and not in chaos. But when I was thinking about it, just 2 came with such certainty.
It did for me too. That was amazing.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and I went, oh, okay, well, I'll be a 2 then. Fine. I guess that's where I'm at. So we're both 2s. So the first thing is to grab your pen and paper, people, and jot down your number, whatever number that is. And if you're in our Facebook group, put it in the group because it's interesting to see where you start and where you are halfway and where you end to go, oh, okay, this has left me with a lot of insights.
Or a lot of insights or a lot of things to do.
Yeah. Insights of things to do. Yeah, that's the one.
Of things to do. Oopsie.
So here we are. Let's kick off. What lessons are on your agenda today? Oh, okay. What's number 1? What's your top tip, number 1?
Well, I think it's a really this to me, I'm just feeling into this idea. What lessons are on your agenda today? Feels like it's an invitation to step into the driver's seat. So that thing of it is that you are the boss of you. Whenever I say that, I have in my the visual is a like a young, I don't know, 6 or 7-year-old sticking your hands on your hips and saying, I'm the boss of me.
Yeah, actually,
right?
Well, I remember doing that as a kid. I think we've all done that.
Yeah.
That's what we teach our children, to have their own voice until they turn on us. And then we want to take their voice away. Don't you talk to me like that. But Mum, you've told me to be independent and speak my mind and speak freely. Yeah, but not to me. Anyone else but not to me. Yeah.
So here's the thing though, is this is what I'm saying, is that it's about being the boss of how your day is going to unfold. So we can do that consciously by sitting and doing an inventory. How am I doing? How am I feeling about myself? What kind of areas would I like to get clarity on, to release, to understand, and navigate through perhaps, and then let go. So like if I start a day off and say, I'd like to get clarity or insights onto creating balance in the way I work, for instance, then I can let go, right? I just set an agenda. So
that's setting your intention.
Yes. Yeah.
Because so you don't have to repeat. I'm going to even just that setting intention is, we talk about I'm just having a brain fart was actually what I was about to say. I'm like, don't say that. No, I'm having a brain fart. When you set so affirmations, this is what I was just going to say. So affirmations, people go, oh, on the hour I have to say this every time. And I'm like, oh, do you? Does that work for you? And I don't want to say, don't work for me. It's not how I want to do it. I just set my intention. And that's, I would say, for me, I just set my intention and this is my affirmation. So I just need to say it once and it's worked.
Yeah.
And that's that whole, you don't have to repeat things over and over again. So that's setting your intention. And I guess the part that comes with that would be trust, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So that, that the words that I heard in my head when you were just saying that is once and done.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah. Nice
because
work. Nice internal dialogue. Thanks.
But isn't that true? Because I've seen and heard people too, oh, you got to repeat it X amount of times. I think I've talked about this before, about the saying chants. Like, and that I remember having this conversation, actually it was a mentor of mine that was saying he had started his day, but he hadn't done all of his chants. And then he got stung by a bee. And he said that was punishment because he hadn't done all of that.
Oh, that poor wee thing.
I know. Poor, well.
Yeah.
But so it's like, to me, I don't like ascribing to things like that because that's fear-based.
Yeah, totally.
Victim-based, fear-based. So that repeating, oh, I have to say it X amount of times in order to make it stick. Like, actually, no, you don't. You're more powerful than that.
I did have a client who, and it was actually a beautiful experience. So, and he had 10 affirmations he wanted to say every day at a certain time. So we set the calendar clock on his timer on his phone, and no matter what time, like whenever it came through, he would have this affirmation. Now I have one that goes on 11:11, and it's, I'm a money magnet, money sticks to me. And no matter where I am, my 11:11 alarm clock goes off, and I just say it. So I'm in a shop and I'm say it, or I'm driving and I say it, or I'm on a consult and my alarm goes off and it stays into my head. And so that's the one thing I do. But for him, he had to say something every hour. You know, so it was like 4 minutes past 8, 4 minutes past 9, 4 minutes past whatever. And so he got into that. So my concern to him was, are you sure this is going to absorb your day? This is not going to absorb your day, because this, knowing at 4 minutes past, your clock goes off, you know. And he was like, no. And so for him, he needed to stop. So the reason we did it this way was he needed to stop and get present in his mind. And so this stopped him from all the chaos that's going on around him. And he would literally just stop for 30 seconds or a minute, and he would think about that affirmation, and more like 30 seconds, I would say. To get him to stop for a minute was already a challenge anyway. But it was just like, this is what I'm going to do. This is where it's at. Say it and then move on. And it just got him grounded every hour to get present with what was happening around him. And so he really valued that. I suggested that to another client, and I thought, oh, okay, well, it's not for me, but let's see if someone else. And they're like, oh, no flipping way.
Right.
There's no way I'm going to put all those notes on my phone. There's no way I'm going to have, no. What are you thinking? I can't believe you even suggest that to me. And I'm like, hang on. Somebody else did it and it worked for them, and I thought it might work for you, and it's not for me personally. Right. But so it is that setting that intention and that belief is what I'm trying to say, basically.
Yeah, I like that. And you know, that you've just opened up something really, really important with that tip, or that point, is that there is no one size fits all in any of the things you do or I do. There is no one size fits all. You can, and you know, you and I've had conversations about this before, about, you know, business coaches saying, here's your protocol. This is how you have to run your business. This is how you have to market your business. And it's like, well, if you're aligned with that, your niche. If you're aligned with that, that's great. But if you're not, you can't bend and contort yourself into somebody else's thing. So to the point, so you described a client. You described the client who really needed, and that helped him feel present, and that sounded like a beautiful thing. Actually, just this afternoon, I was having a conversation with somebody about a program that I'm developing right now. And I told her a wee bit of the different pieces that I was going to be including in it. And she said, oh, you're going to do vision boards. And I said, well, maybe if somebody really wants one. Because I am not a vision board type person. I am more of I'm more of a process type person. I like the process of getting the intention or the manifestation. But to me, vision boards are much more for people who really, really want to visit the end goal. So and it is actually said by one of my mentors that it's 50-50. 50% of people like the vision boards and need that, whereas the other 50%, it won't work.
Yeah, and I love that. And that's that 50-50 is a great that's a tip on its own, 50-50. Because it's a great one for me to go, not everyone's going to like you.
Yes.
Not everyone's going to like that you're blonde. Not everyone is going to like that you have that accent. Not everyone's going to like that you laugh at certain things. And that's the difference between Moira and I. Don't you worry, she still laughs.
Oh, she does.
She does. But I mean, there's that difference between us, and not everyone's going to like me. And that's okay. And I think that's, once you know 50-50, that old rule, you can walk into a party, people have already decided if they want to talk to you or not.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh, I don't like them because they're wearing red and it doesn't suit them, or their lipsticks, whatever. And that's okay. Whatever reason I can have, whether it's pathetic reason or not. It's my reason, so that's fine. If their lipstick goes too intense past their lips, I'll be like, I don't know if I can talk to you because I'm just going to be staring at your lips the whole time. But we're different people. So 50-50, knowing that 50-50 is a great one to go, okay, I'm not going to push to get them to like me because they might be in that 50%. Like, I'm not going to compromise my soul to make you like me. Right. Because this is what people do. You got to do this, and this when you go to the school parent things and be friends with everyone. And you got to be no, I don't like them. I'm not going to sit next to them.
It's about telling the truth. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think once you've got that 50-50 in your head, to know that it's okay.
I'm putting this one down as a tip here too about telling the truth.
Yes.
Because the telling the truth is sometimes, I think it's really important for us to just carve out a wee bit of space and time. And this could be a lesson on an agenda, is to say, hey, what does light me up? What does make me feel like I'm in flow or connected with my guidance of my heart or connected to source energy? And tell yourself the truth, because there are certain types of people and certain types of scenarios that I just go, I couldn't be there. It's just not my thing. And so it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It means it's not for me. That's it.
Yeah. I think the telling truth's a great one. And I'm going to go along that telling the truth is not a worthy opponent.
Yes, I love that one.
Because even though you might want to tell someone the truth, if they're not a worthy opponent, is it worth saying, I don't like you? Is it this? Like, is it worth actually saying that stuff, or actually just going, I'm just going to walk away? Yeah. I'm actually they're not a worthy opponent. Keyboard warriors, people go, no, slam this whole thing on the keyboards and do this. And then people go, right, I've got to fire back. It's like, just block and delete the comment. Just block and delete. Seriously, you don't have to, but I need to justify themselves, or I need to do this. Like, no.
How dare they? How dare they say that kind of thing? It's like, I'm going to show them.
I know. Well, so somebody actually put a post. Someone was moaning about one of my friend's business, and he's got a beautiful jewelry business, and somebody put on their Facebook ad, and it was a paid ad, I could tell, and it had anyway, and they just went, I'm sick of you, I've tried to block you, you're just fraudsters, and this whole thing, and I had to giggle because I was in New Zealand, and this person's profile was definitely a non-New Zealand profile when I did a little bit of stalking. So I actually went, right, I was having one of those moments that I didn't listen to my own advice, and I jumped on and I said, are you aware that the more you comment on people's pages and the more you put bad face emojis, because this guy wrote 3 comments. I said, you're really helping this business with their algorithms, and it's getting more likes and it's getting more traction, Anyway, in this person, and I thought, I just wanted to let them know. I thought, you just need to know that.
Yeah.
And yes, there was a bit of arrogance, a bit.
Just a wee bit.
How dare you say that about my old school friend? Yeah. And next thing, I got private messages that were, and I was like, and I could not for the life of me find that advert again to take my comment off.
Oh, no.
I got a heap of private messages about, and I was like, block. And I'm like, Deborah,
look at the hornet's nest you kicked over.
Did you not get that lesson? Hello, you tell people. And I was like, I'll just let them know. Because I thought I'd be nice to let them know and also have a bit of a bitch slap. But yeah, so that bitch slap came all the way around and got me good.
Yeah, so what lessons were on your agenda that day?
Yeah. Preach what you're talking about, and yeah, Deborah, you don't have to go in and just educate somebody because they're not a worthy opponent. Yeah. They're not a worthy opponent. Like, come on, save your time and energy.
It's interesting because, with having a business page on Facebook myself, every so often it seems to go through cycles. Every so often I will just be, going and maybe responding to some of the comments or questions on posts that I've done. And like I said, there seems to be a cycle of people doing kind of spammy comments where it's like, this person is the best, and it's a link to somebody else's. So I don't even engage with them. I just block them.
I get the herpes ones. Do you get the herpes ones? I get the herpes ones on mine. This doctor helped me with my herpes. I'm like, come on.
No, I haven't had that. Mine's are usually about relationship issues.
Oh no, I get herpes. Okay, well there's definitely this
But
doctor.
like I say, I just see them as, you know what, how I see that is it's just like there's somebody put graffiti on my wall and I'm taking it off. That's it.
Yeah.
Because to me, I'm not going to give any energy other than just block it and take it off. I'm just cleaning up my wall. No more graffiti on here, thanks.
I know, and I say to people, walk away. The moment that you can feel that emotion, walk away.
Yeah.
Just walk away. And when you come back, you're in a different. But that day,
yeah,
and I got stung. But I mean, there's actually, I must admit, there's something that happened on our Instagram. I haven't told you. It happened on my Instagram, and we put a post of one of our podcasts, and someone goes, "Oh, I love the song you've been singing throughout this," and I was like, I don't think I sung a song. Like, we don't sing songs. So I was like, oh, you're one of those spammers. So then I commented back. I was like, oh, I don't know what song you're talking about. And then, like, I ended up getting something like over 100 comments.
Oh, my.
And I was like, oh, this is great for our algorithms, but I'm going to have to hide you because I don't want these comments.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah, but it said we got over 100 comments on our podcast. So I just had to giggle at that. But it's a good one to remind yourself, being authentic. You know, we talk about telling the truth, being authentic, but they're not a worthy opponent. And so walk your talk will be my thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And generally speaking, I know I do, and I know you do, other than that one example you just shared.
Just one. Only once have I done it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was I knew it. I knew. I was like, don't do it. I am. And then I'm like, really? And and I haven't seen this guy in probably 20, 30 years when I was at school, you know, so like, I'm protecting your business. Yeah, okay, Deborah. Righto. Yeah.
You know something
but
else?
Not a worthy. Yep.
No, you continue. Not a worthy opponent.
That's not a worthy opponent's a really great one to do. A really great one to do.
No, I really like that one. But I just was going to circle back on this idea of lessons, because I was having a conversation with somebody just last week where we were talking about learnings versus lessons. Because sometimes lessons, and I'm putting my fingers in the air there, quotation marks, can feel like I didn't know better. But we do. I
know. Well, yeah. You know deep down. Yes. I knew when I typed that there was going to be. I knew. Yes. I didn't even need to set my intention that I'm going to type this and it's going to land with love. I didn't even do that. I set my intention, you're going to get this.
Yeah. The reason I'm saying that, though, is sometimes, and maybe you can relate to this, sometimes I can have conversations about learning something. And if it's a lesson, there can be a sense of beating yourself up. Like you know, so, I needed that lesson to teach me something or to...
I knew karma was going to come back and get me. Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's interesting about that bee sting. It's like, I was bad.
Yes.
So I deserved it.
Yes. Yeah. That kind of thing breaks my heart, actually, because it's like, no, you missed something. Sorry, you missed something. We're in kindergarten. You missed the wee thing.
Yeah, that's it. That's actually a real common one, though, isn't it?
It is. And that's why I was kind of picking up on that thing about lessons, is sometimes it can be taken if, I didn't get my lesson, so I had to get bonked over the head again. Right? Yeah. And I don't believe it's that.
Yeah, I also try and reframe when I talk to people and they say, I've learnt my lesson, and I say, experience. You had an experience. And just instead of saying to yourself, I learnt my lesson, which instantly goes to, I'm a bad person and I deserved it.
And I deserved it, yeah.
Is I experienced this. And just saying that, like, okay, I experienced a bee sting today. Actually, that would be bad to me because I'm allergic. But apart from that, but, it just downplays it, is what I was about to say, and changing that word from lesson to a naughty is to experience. I experienced this today.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an Inner Peace Kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
Right, because experiencing things like how you're describing it is actually claiming ownership for you being the co-creator of your life experience, as opposed to anything.
I didn't even look at it like that. I love that you didn't even look at that. That's just one of the things I say. I experienced this, and I hadn't actually thought about that extra part. But you're right. That is you are the co-creator of this.
Yeah. And claiming it, which is what I started off our conversation about, what lessons are you on your agenda, is reminding you that you can claim the authority and the authorship of what you're going to experience. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the excuse me, mid-cough. One of the how we've set our title is what lessons are on your agenda today. One of the things I used to do, which I don't do, I can't even think actually now as I think about it, when was the last time I did it. So on a Sunday night, I would write down what I would like to deal with that week emotionally around myself. So I might have had an argument with my mother. I might have been beating myself up about certain things or something, something going on. So I'd write 3 or 4 things that I would like to work on that week. So I'd write them down in my little black book, which was actually a red book. Surprise. And I bet if Moira had one, hers would be purple.
It would be. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'd write it down, and then I'd read it and go, yep, they feel right. And I'd shut that book. And, this is, like we talked about at the start, setting your intention once and done. Yeah. And I would do that, and I'd shut that book. And then when I would go to the end of the week and I'd open it up again to write my next lot, I would go, oh, these are the things that I've worked on my clients with this week, or these are the things that have already done it. So it was a great, what lessons are on your agenda today? I had an agenda. So I specifically wrote that down, that agenda. This is what I'd like to work on this week. I didn't set time in my diary to do it. I just knew it was constantly, I was going to be dealing with it. And every single time the universe, or whatever you want, the red book, the black book, the red book came to the party and it delivered. And I never questioned it. And someone said to me one time, I said to someone, don't you do that? And they're like, no, why would I do that? I'm like, but you want to make sure that you're keeping up to date, like you're keeping up to date with your learnings and everything to know, oh, I'm still working on this, or I'm still working on this, or whatever. But it's interesting that that's what I used to do. And it was great for me. My clients or whatever would come out, and it would just clear that emotion around me. So it was on my agenda. I set my agenda.
That was you setting an agenda. I love that. And I know for myself that it's often happened that I would have like my meditation in the morning, and something would land for me, whether it was an emotions or focus on a specific habit or a pattern, that throughout that day, and it always was in that same 24 hours, it would keep coming up. Same conversation of like, oh, obviously I needed that too. I needed to hear that too.
Yeah. We were just talking about that this morning. You were saying you were doing something and you're like, oh yeah, that's for me.
Yes, okay, exactly. It's like, okay, thank you. I was actually doing it, preparing a report for somebody else. And then all of a sudden this paragraph in that reading stuck out, and I was like, oh, that's me. That was me that needed that part as well. The client that I'm doing it for, she needed it, but
it's funny. I love that about our group sessions. We have our group sessions and we talk about certain things, and I say, well, what about this and this? And then someone puts their hand up and they go, are you just talking to me, Deborah, or is this just a casual conversation? Because you're literally telling me something that I've got going on that I've been avoiding. And I'm like, well, I was having a casual conversation, but clearly you need to hear this. Are you hearing it? And so that we get signs or signals all the time.
Yeah, we do.
And they get bigger and bigger, which we know. So see if you can pick them up. And I guess that's being that present and going, oh, I know what this means, or oh, I know what this is. And so the signs are around us all the time, is what I was saying.
That's part of that it can actually help you hone in on what lessons are on your agenda when you see the signs and you read them. Because,
well, you go, there's a pattern. hang on, there's a pattern here.
Yes, exactly. But you know what's really interesting?
Yeah.
There are 2 group sessions that I lead every week. And they're kind of similar in content, but that totally different groups of people. But I will prepare something for each of these. And you wouldn't believe how many times it happens that I show up and start talking about it, and I get the feedback, oh my God, I really needed to hear this. And oh my God, can you tell me what that tip was again? Because I really needed this.
Are you talking to me? Because I know you're talking to Tracy, but I know you're actually talking to me as well. Is there a side swipe?
But don't you love that? Because it's, to me, it says to me that when I take some time to look at what lessons are on my agenda this week, this day, when I really tap in authentically and truthfully with that, and then share from that space, this is to me, it's such a beautiful indicator that we are all connected. When we really come down into our essence, into our heart, that's when you get that beautiful connection of like, oh, that was for me, right?
We hit that old saying, we are one.
We are
Actually,
one.
I don't know if it is an old saying, it's one I remember. We are one. And
we are one.
And that's an exact example. Mm-hmm. I mean, I go to your Ask the Tarot. I sign up for your Ask the Tarot once a month. Mm-hmm. And I love it. And I get on there and I go, oh, wonder what's going to be pulled for me today, because it's not just the 3 cards you pull for me, right. It's everyone else. Everyone else, I'm like, I'm taking that.
Precisely,
and
yeah.
Because there's no mistake, I'm sitting there listening to that. Or you can hear someone say something, even on TV or something, you know, or you go to a workshop and you and your friend go to the workshop and their notes are very different to yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
When did they say that? I don't remember that.
They didn't say that, did they really?
And the person's like, well, why would I write it down? I'm like, no, I never heard that. They're like, he says it every time about this time. That was one of the things actually I had to giggle when I went to John DeMartini. It was about the 7th breakthrough I'd been to. And I said, oh my God, this is great. He just said this. I can't remember what it was. And they're like, he says that about 4:00 every Sunday. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, don't you? This is, and what he's going to say next is this, and this. And I'm like, no, he did. Oh my God, how do you know that? They're like, how do you miss that? And I'm like, well, clearly at 4:00 on a Sunday, I'm zoned out. I don't usually hear it. But it's watching the 2 things and seeing something different, because you're taking in from your experiences, you're taking in what
you're ready for. No, yeah, I love that. I love that. Because you know what? I have a self-hypnosis audio that I give to a lot of my clients for forgiveness. This is a specific process to help with the forgiveness process. And I've been using that with clients for years. But you wouldn't believe how many times people have told me that they'll listen to it over and over and over again and hear different things every single time. I had a client, she used to swear blind. I was like, Moira must sneak into my bedroom and say different things.
Like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I've got nothing else.
Yep, I come across the other side of the globe and whisper in here.
So the universe has its own agenda for you, and you're either on board or not. And if you're off, it'll let you know and it'll get you back on board.
But it's about trust. This come back to trust too, because in your example and in the example I'm talking about, you hear it when you're ready. So it's not that you're bad or anything like that. It's nothing wrong. It's just that it's going to land for you when you are ready.
When you're ready, and that's the other thing. And so I guess when you're ready. But I want to be ready now.
I'm sure I'm ready now, aren't I?
Yeah, I'm ready. And trust is so big on all of this.
It's a huge part of it.
And that's, the other thing is that's trust yourself. Trust yourself that you're going to do right by yourself, whatever right is, and trust that others are going to do right by you, but also aware that they're always going to choose themselves first.
Well, they should.
They say drink your own cup first, and then trust that the universe is going to look after you. And once you have those 3 things, you just go, okay, it's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work.
Yeah, and you just surrender to it and let it happen, right?
Yeah. So your feet are not down in the ground, running down the hill, going, I don't want to do it. It's just, you're going to get through it. You're going to get through it. So trust is a massive, massive, massive one. She seems to be something that I've talked about a couple of times yesterday and today. I'm going to write trust on my little piece of paper, because it's clearly, I'm like, hang on, that's come up more and more, Deborah, you're talking about that. So
an interesting piece that I like to say about trust, though, is that sometimes we can find ourselves in a sticky situation, for instance, that we might not be able to see our way through or see the solution. To me, I have a very firm belief that we are never in any kind of situation that we can't deal with. We don't always see it in that moment, though. And so when we trust ourselves and we really cultivate that sense of trust, we can let go of the, oh my God, the crazy making, the worry, to go, I don't see the answer right now, but I trust that I'll recognize it when it lands, or when it shows up, or, when it's the right timing, that kind of thing. So that's a big piece of trust too. It's like, oh, I don't see my way through it right now, so I'm just going to sit and put my hand over my heart and really focus on my breath and really focus on staying present, because this is where the solutions are with me right here. Right?
Yeah. And you can you just hear Moira's tone just changed? And she changed from I've got to get my point across here, to just sitting in her heart and delivering.
Yeah.
And that is really important for our experiences in life, is sitting in that. And her tone just, I don't know if anyone else noticed it, but her tone changed from, I must say this point, to that. So look at your energy you've got around you, is another tip I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
Because when you're I know I don't let my team send out emails when they're grumpy.
Yes, me too.
Do not. No. Just look at unless you're in, don't send that email. Oh, I'm having a cranky day today. Then let the email go tomorrow. I'm not going to be hell bent on it has to be done on a certain day. And it is about the energy. If you're not feeling right, be able to say, I'm not having a great day. I just want to take some time out, or this is not going to get done while I'm doing this, or because you become resentful and bitter, and it's like the old tops caught on the bloody door handles.
Door handle. Yeah.
But that's what it feels like.
But it's because your energy gets stamped on whatever it is you're doing, whether it is a written word or a spoken word. So we need to be bosses of our energy that then says, I need to just go and take care of me. And maybe that's your lesson for that day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And not having any being okay with just stopping and pausing.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the most productive thing we can do.
Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
these have been great. I love, like I said when we first started, I was intrigued about where we were going to go with this one.
Where's this going on this tangent?
What's this?
And I don't even know if I've got all the notes.
Let's do our little recap and see what we can come up with. We always do these recap and then end up adding more things in.
And we had more. I know we had more to it. So your first one I thought was really good, but I didn't write it down because I was just so in awe of it.
The first one that I wrote down was that asking what lessons are on your agenda today is an invitation to take control of your experience.
Oh yes, okay. I remember I wrote really good one. But I was like, yeah, this and how simple is that?
Mm-hmm. It's just, it's reminding yourself you're the boss of you. It's saying I get to choose. I am the author, the director, the actor in this script.
I'm the captain of my ship.
Exactly. Yes.
And my tip that I came in with was set the intention. And Moira added once and done. And I love that.
I do too.
Once and done. And that's it, done. So set your intention. And I talked about affirmations. You don't have to say that affirmation every hour on the hour till because you'll end up beating yourself up if you miss the 7 o'clock one, and you'll go, well, that's why it never happened. Right. Because I missed that 7 o'clock one 3 days ago, and I just know that. It's like,
so the only reason that you would do it is if it works for you. Because we both know people that will work.
Yeah.
It won't work for me.
Yeah. My phone goes off enough. The last thing I want is like another reminder every hour on the hour. Yeah. So set your intention once and done. And the part that comes with that, which we've also talked about pretty much all the way through, is trust.
Yeah.
Trust. And having that trust in there.
Having that trust and because in that trust part, you talked about the finding your 50-50.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really, really good thing too, because that actually helps build trust, right? Helps with build trust, and it helps with authentically just being you, not saying, oh my gosh, I have to show up in a different role or right.
I know, and that 50-50, I have a saying, which I'm sure you've heard me before, is you can't push a wet noodle.
Yeah.
Now, it's not a great thing to label that person a wet noodle because they don't like you, but you can label them anything you want, really, at the end of the day. But
it's not, don't go tell them. You don't need to tell them.
You don't know. You're a wet noodle. You're not a worthy opponent. You're that 50% don't like me. I don't need you.
No.
Like, no, Deborah, you don't need to type that out there. But not a worthy opponent. You can't push a wet noodle. It's just not worth your time and energy. And that's a great one for keyboard warriors. So just know that those people aren't going to like you.
Yep.
Maybe they don't like you, but the next lot of people might. So
they're just not your people. That's it. They're just not your people.
Not your tribe. Find your tribe. Stick to your tribe. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And that, I think, is a beautiful one, especially around this festive season. Because,
definitely.
And being okay with walking away. Now, people go, oh, it's family. I've got to go to my in-laws and I've got to do this and I'm going to do this. It's going to be the worst 8 hours of my life and I don't like. Then don't go.
Yeah, listen to that script. Oh, look at that lessons on the agenda.
Oh, you're going to walk into a time bomb. You're already prepared to explode before you even get there. Like,
truly. Yeah, don't do it.
They don't want you there. Just for the record, they don't want you there. They'd rather not have you there so they can blame you for not coming. But but that stuff there, and that's down to that energy. I'd rather have people here who want to come, who love coming, than people who feel obligated to come. Like, don't come.
Yeah, having people around you that they're being there because they have to, I find that such an energy drain.
Yeah.
Right. So that actually leads us into the tip that I had said about tell the truth. Tell the truth about what you want and what you don't want, instead of what you were just saying about I have to or I should.
Yeah, tell the truth to yourself.
To yourself, first of all. Telling the truth to yourself allows you and empowers you to be truthful. And that doesn't mean being rude, like you were saying. You don't go around saying, well, you're a wet noodle.
You're a wet noodle and I can't push you, and you're not a worthy opponent. So no, you're not even invited. I'll invite your partner, but not you for Christmas because I'm not a worthy opponent. And
no, we're not trying to cause chaos with this conversation here.
Which is a great one, because I said about walking your talk.
Yes, you did, and that's exactly it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, but energy is those people around is a really interesting one. Be okay with letting go. Yeah.
The next tip that I wrote down was to think about lessons in quotation marks as learnings, because it's not ever a lesson that's like a punishment that you had to learn this thing because you suck or you're or you're a bad person, right? It's about nope.
And that's that wording, tweaking that wording of lessons to experiences. And Moira said 2 words that really resonated with me was claim authority.
Yeah.
Claim your authority. Yep, I'm this, I'm part of it. This is my experience that I'm dealing with. Might not like that experience right now, but it's the way I'm dealing with it. Whatever, I'm going to do the best I can. Right. But tweaking that wording of experience over lessons.
Yes. And so that you saying that thing about experiences is the tip that I said is acknowledging that you are co-creator of your experience. So if I'm having an experience, I am actually creating it with my connection to my soul, to source, right?
Yeah. I love that. I talked about the signs are around us all the time.
Yes, you did.
And I talk about the Nemo fish, the whale.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. So the Nemo is that little Ellen DeGeneres who comes in and just gives you a little nibble, you know, like
little bunt.
those ones that come onto your feet. You know,
little
I've never
tap.
had that. I don't, you know, and yeah, you put them in your feet in the water and they all come around and do that. That's what the Nemo's like, all these little bites and everything. And it just gets bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Comes the tuna that gives you a different bite, or it whacks you, and then it comes to the dolphin, and then it comes to the shark, and it goes to all these until you get the whale. And the whale is the warning that just immobilizes you, wheelchair bound. That would be Deborah. Yeah, takes your house out, takes your boat out, all those things. And so those signs are around us all the time. So if you can get the Nemo, it's so much easier for your life than the whale. But if you get the whale, you just got to pick yourself up at a different level again.
Yes, and whichever level you get the message, it's okay. Be okay with it, and know that okay,
you can't run from it.
Yes, it's there.
Yeah,
absolutely. We talked a wee bit about just recognizing that we are one. That when we show up authentically ourselves, that gives everybody else around us permission to do the same thing, and then we uplift and shine our light, which then makes the light expand, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the last one I have is energy. Energy. Look at your energy, look at the energy you're putting in, look at the energy you're putting out, look at the energy around you, and just glitter bomb yourself. And I'm not talking about, when I say glitter bomb yourself, I'm not talking about the pom-poms, bring out the pom-poms and celebrate and dance and everything and glitter bomb yourself. Glitter bomb yourself might be just standing in the garden.
Yeah.
Glitter bomb yourself might just be standing, you know, outside appreciating the view, or whatever it is for you is your energy.
Petting your cat or your dog, and when we were talking about that, I did the put my hand over my heart and just took a deep breath. Because it's about landing in the present moment, in the presence of your heart, and just seeing, how is my energy? How am I? Who am I in this?
Who am I? Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Awesome tips. This has been a great conversation.
Oh, that was a different one.
It was a different one. We'd love to hear from our listeners. Did we miss any tips? How does this land for you? And how are you feeling? We'd love to know what number you were at to begin with and where you are at now. And saying that, dear Deb, we were both at 2. Where are you now?
I'm going to say I'm a 0.5.
Okay.
Just because I've added trust with a big love heart on my piece of paper, because clearly it's going to be something to go through. And I'm just going to, just trust is clearly something that's on my agenda. And I don't know what else there is, but I'm just going to say 0.5 today for me.
I'm going to say 0.5 myself. I kept bouncing a little bit, but because you reminded me that I want to get into a similar practice, like you were saying about every Sunday, just kind of going, what are the few things? Because I think it'd be fun to get really mindful of doing it, as opposed to, like, I do it a lot energetically, but I think it would be it would raise my awareness and my appreciation levels to actually be more mindful about it. So that's what explaining the 0.5 there.
It's seriously, I actually will go back to it. I can hear myself going, you're going to go back to that, because that was great.
It's a wonderful practice.
Definitely.
Excellent conversation. What lessons are on your agenda today? So, dear listeners, we trust that you feel closer to 0 than maybe you were to start with, and that you got some good nuggets and some good.
Let us know.
Yes, we would. Yeah. What's your favorite tip? And if you liked this, your next thing to do is to share it. Share this episode with your friends, your families, with people you know, people you don't know. Just share and inspire people. That's kind of our mission here, is that we want to inspire people to feel uplifted and deliciously motivated.
Yes.
Deliciously motivated with their mindset. So this is Moira and Debz signing off for our another Deliciously Motivated Mindset podcast. and we will be back again with you next week.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Moira.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you, listeners.
Hey.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.